All right, looks like I'm live. Yo. Where am I? Yep, I'm live. Okay, cool. Um, Root here. Doing a quick video update for this channel that no one subscribes to just because this is my more vloggy channel, which is probably going to be more of my fitness stuff. And I say that because I don't really have a lot else going on in my life. It's freaking late. It's 5 minutes to midnight, give or take, on a Saturday. I'm tired, worn out, but I wanted to do something real quick. I have been weightlifting / powerlifting for years. Relatively, not even relatively speaking. I think I first started lifting weights at 15. I'm now 45, so 30 years. In that time, there's probably, of those 30 years, 10 years, no. There's probably about 7 years total where I didn't lift any weights. Those weren't all consecutive. There were years where I would do it for a couple of months and then drop it again, and, you know, my cycle was typically I'd pick it up in the winter, late winter. By the time I got hot outside, I just was didn't want to do it anymore. But having said that, I design my own programs, and I have always done that. And I don't strictly do 531. In fact, I don't even do a variation of 531, but I do take some of the 531 ideas to heart. Not explicitly. I kind of mix powerlifting with bodybuilding type of stuff, and the ways that let's go through this here. Basically, with what I'm working on right now. Sorry if I keep rubbing my face, but my eyes are tired. Hey, look, Skeptical Root. That's my other channel, my main channel. But that's another story. So what I've been doing. Let's go look at my current routine here. How the heck do I get to there? Routines. Here we go. So I do a 5-part body split. Generally speaking, I break myself down into 6 parts. I might have picked that up from Arnold or Joe Weider back in the day. Chest, arms, back, abs, legs, and shoulders. Monday is my chest day. Tuesday is currently back. Wednesday, shoulders. Thursday, arms. Friday, legs. Because there's only 5 days in the week, and I'm lifting 5 days a week, and I'm taking 2 recovery days where I just do light aerobics. I do abs, glutes, and lower back as the last set for all of my workouts. You see here, starting at the top here, I do 2. My goal is a 1-minute plank. I've done that once. I'm pretty gassed by the time I get to the end of that, so my shoulders are usually pretty shredded from all this stuff. And no, I'm not doing the push-pull stuff. I probably should do more push-pull because of the problem why I need a deload. I don't have any deload programmed into my routine. For those of you that may not know, deloading is where you basically back off for a week. You still do your same work. You do it typically with a lighter weight. It allows you to keep working, but to still have like more of an active recovery. Sometimes it is changing up routines altogether. In my case, that's probably what I'm going to do, but I'll get into that. I want to talk it through a little bit. So look at what I'm doing now. Bench press, incline dumbbell press, decline flies. By the time I get to this, though, it hurts. And I'll show you my weights on these in here in a minute. Band crossover. This actually works fine, but there's no way for me to really record how much the band weighs. Oh, sorry. They got a load on the band. I did have the maximum weight for the band on there, which actually I don't even include in. We'll look at it. And planks is time. Tuesday, apparently deadlift they consider on JFit. They consider it a back exercise. And after my lifting on this week, I kind of see that. I always assumed it was more shoulders and legs, but no, it's a lot of back. Bent over rows, dumbbell incline 2-arm rows. Brandon Campbell Diamond's one of his favorite exercises. Band lat pull down. I don't currently have a cable system, but that's on my short list of things to get. And part of my problem, I think, for why I need to deload. And then I do reverse hyper on a flat bench, which is basically just kicking your legs up. You pivot at the waist. I'll show you here. Pivot at the waist. I go way higher than this. I actually bring mine up into the air. I rock up onto the lower abs to pull all of the hamstrings up through the lower back, not just glutes. But having said that, Wednesday shoulders, standing military press. One of the metrics on this site is that you can track PRs for 6 exercises. They don't use the standing military press. They use a seated overhead press for that. Why, I don't know. Because if you're doing powerlifting, even with the alternate, where you're using overhead press instead of bench press, you're not doing split jerks or anything like that. You're literally pressing the bar over your head. So I can't change that. I might if I was a premium member, but I really just use this for time and data input. We'll look at my last workout too. Shrugs, upright rows. Then I have bent over delt raise, lateral delt raise, and front raises. Trying to hit all 3 main segments of my the deltoid head, or deltoid group, I suppose is more correct. And then dumbbell side bends, because this is I throw in some grip work in here too, because I do all of these with fat grips, which works out pretty well. Thursday, barbell curl. I have switched to easy bar curl. I have not changed it in the workout. Easy bar curl and easy bar line tricep extensions, because by the time I get to this stuff on this day, my shoulders are shot. And some days, on barbell bench press, for example, I need to do 2 or 3 sets of singles with a light weight. By light, I mean 225, 255, something like that, 245. I'll do a single, double, triple, just to warm up before I can do my first set of these without it killing me. But by the time I'm down to the flies, my shoulders are shot. It's all this workout has become very anterior deltoid and pectoral heavy, which drives me, it's killing my shoulders. I've got an impingement in both shoulders. I don't have a tear as far as I can tell. They do pop sometimes, and they do definitely pull me forward like this. So I work on keeping them back. Part of my problem with keeping them back, though, is that the other day, 3 weeks ago, went a little too heavy with shrugs, pulled a muscle in my upper trapezius, and that has not helped at all. But also, with the rack that I have now, which I've got tons of stuff recorded. With the rack I have now, I no longer have cable system. I have always used my old rack had a cable system, but it's not compatible with this rack. There's no way. There's no good way for me to hook up the cable system with this current rack. So I got to buy a different cable system. I'll look at those fairly quickly. I have one or two, one from Titan Fitness that I was looking at, but they're out of stock until, not expected to get them back in until the end of June. I may not wait that long. But I've always had a cable system. I've always done rows, seated rows, typically with a good deal of weight. And that has always probably helped my shoulders because I could always keep it in the right position. Bent over rows, as much as I'm doing bent over rows for, I don't go down as far. I pull up to around my belly button-ish. I try to go a little above it. That works, but my belly's pretty big, so my range of motion is a little limited. And it's not the same. It's not hitting the upper posterior delts as much. And so I'm not getting, and also with my lat pull-downs, I'm not getting good activation of my lats. So I'm still unable to do a pull-up. Now, granted, I'm still 312, 314. I keep retreading the same 5 pounds between 310 and actually 4 pounds between 311 and 315, give or take. No matter what I do, it seems. We'll talk about my diet here in a minute. Let's get back to looking at exercise before we get off track here. So yeah, by barbell curls and line tricep extension, I switched up to the easy curl bar. That may not stay the same. I don't see how the tricep extension with the easy curl bar makes it any different as far as the extension goes, because typically it's my elbow that gives out there, not my shoulder. And having my hands in this position versus having them in this position doesn't change that much as far as the pressure on my shoulder goes, but my left elbow, which is one I had tennis elbow in, is still a little shaky at times. So, and I think because I've loaded up the bar for barbell curl and I go to tricep extension using a similar weight, which we'll look at, that kind of puts them together. So, weighted bench dips, I could only do one set of those this past week because of my shoulders, and they weren't very deep. So I fudged a little bit on those, and hip thrusts were fine. I went up on those. Friday squats. My squats are ugly, especially with lots of weight. Normal weight, they're okay. I'm not an ass to grass squatter, mostly because of stability and ankle mobility. I've got lifts, and they work okay, but they don't get me down super low. My last set of barbell squats with 415 that I did yesterday would have probably failed. They probably would have red lighted me on a competition, but I've never done a competition. I'm just pretty sure it wasn't low enough. I have video, which I can edit and look at. I've actually been recording all of my workouts, at least whenever I can. I'm recording about 60 gigs worth of video a week. A lot of that includes me not even on camera or me just sitting. So I got to go through and edit all that stuff, and it's just a pain in the ass. I haven't gotten to it yet. But every week I offload memory card from my little action camera in the back, and I put it in a folder for someday going through and at least looking at my top sets, or for me to look at my form. I need to cut out all the stuff in the middle, but I don't always grab the remote and hit the button to stop it in time. Sometimes I just forget something. I figure I'm doing the next set pretty quickly. Won't take up that much space. But I've also had weeks where I did not finish Friday's workout without running out of space. So leg extensions, leg curls, calf raises. I have to change my bar height on that, but that gets complicated. The way where my J hooks are set, I have to really squat under the bar because I'm up on a toe board. And it's awkward. But it's less weight, so I get it done fairly okay. Barbell split clean. I don't really do technically a split clean. I just do a barbell clean. I can't find one where it's just... I literally just go 1, 2, 3. But I don't step forward. I finish inside. 1, 2, 4 is basically it. I really just draw it up to this final position. I don't pull it up and then re-rack it, and then it's just 1, 2, 4. This here, here, here. It is just a clean, but the cleans that they had on here look different. This just has you stepping forward to get it under the bar. I don't really move my feet too much. I don't need to. I'm only doing it with 115 pounds because it's a rope for the movement, and I'll be honest with you. I get gas doing eight or 9 of them, which is what I did yesterday. Now, granted, that's towards the end of my leg workout. Here's leg day here. That's my second to last exercise. The last one just being weighted crunches. 45-pound plate. I just do 15 crunches or so. I don't know that I'll go much higher than 45 pounds. I'll just increase volume from there. It gets freaking boring, but I only do 2 sets of it. So that's basically that. Where I'm at, let's go to here. Training stats. So currently my 1 rep max on bench press is at 356.5. I set a goal of, I don't know why I won't keep this goal. Go in here. What does this say? I set a goal date of May 1st, 2019. For some reason it won't take this for bench press. All the other ones, just one more time. Let's go 400, and we'll go May 1st. Set goal. There. Why is that 346? Did I do April 1st? Maybe that's what I did. 400. It was April 1st. That sounds more April 1st. That's better. Okay. So I planned out for a year to giving myself a whole year to achieve these goals, and I'm smoking them. I'm an easy gainer, I'll tell you that. You'll notice down here on barbell shoulder press that's the seated position one. I do the standing one. I'm probably at that goal already. I'll have to go back and we'll look at my last routines here real quick. But you can see this way. When I look this way, I can see this board, this TV, this screen. I really just called it a TV. What the hell's wrong with me? So you can see here that I've got the numbers that I was setting for 89%, 13%. I know I'm looking the wrong way. I should switch this around. Now look at this screen looking at this. So I got, let's do this. So 495, 554. My percentages are pretty high there. I'm not sure how well you can see this. But my goals weren't super ambitious. They were just what I thought I could handle. And I gave myself a year to get there, and I'm a bit ahead of schedule. Now, my shoulders are going to screw me up if I don't do more to fix that. Let's look at my workouts from the past. Here. So for Monday, see here, Monday I had one set, 255 by 6. I actually added a set here because I did this. This was supposed to be my opening set here. This one here, 255 by 10. It did not go quite that well. But, hang on, how long have I been doing this? I got a 20 minutes already. Okay, so I'll speed this up. I only wanted this to be like a 10 or 20 minute video, and I'm already at 20 minutes, and I'm not even like into the meat of it yet. Basically, this was actually like my third set that I did one. Actually, I did 2 liftoffs. I did a pause halfway down and then back up, and then I did a full press before I did 5, and that 5 was just a warm up to start doing 10, to loosen my shoulders a little bit. Then these all went okay. I had 345 times 1. I thought I was going to get a double out of this. I did not push it on the 315 by 2. I was trying to save a little bit for the 345, but I didn't make it. So, dumbbell incline. This 1 rep max calculation is coming off of this lift. Dumbbell incline bench press. My dumbbells that I have right now, I have 2 that actually have the end caps. You actually have to screw them on with a wrench. I trust those, but I'm kind of out of 1-inch plates to add to them because of my other exercise right here. So I've got they're basically 52.5 pound dumbbells, and I just make this number go up. I'm going to order some more 1-inch dumbbells so this number can go up, and this number, the number of reps, doesn't have to go up so much. This is just accessory work that I throw on the same day. I might have to change that up going forward. Same with the flies. It's just accessory work. But by the time I get to here from doing this and this, my shoulders are shot. Banded crossovers is not that big of a deal. That's almost just like I'm trying to get the inner squeeze part in. But by then, planks suck. I'm gassed. But I put all my ab stuff at the end because I do it more often. I do it 3 times a week instead of just 1 day a week. Having looked at that, let's go to Tuesday. Again, this deadlift 7 and 315 was after I had done a single, a double, and then I went for 7. I had a lot of wasted time this day, not super bad. The way that they calculate my session time is supposed to be, to look it up exactly, 40-some minutes. The actual workout time is the amount of time that you are supposedly working, and then rest time between sets. I don't know how they calculate actual workout time or how they calculate wasted time per se. I do know how they calculate rest time because that's the time between sets. Some of it's a little goofy because, like, some of these, my deadlift, I do a minimum of 90 seconds between lifts. Sometimes it's a bit longer. Sometimes it's 3-4 minutes, depending on how much I do. 465 is all of my big plates that I have. I can go up to a total of 505 if I put everything on the bar. I don't trust my current bar to do that necessarily. But this is hard. And because this tears on my back a bit, it's harder. But see, generally speaking, I'm trying to go for this 531, but I'm really looking to do my volume early as part of my warm-up. I don't do volume after I hit my max. That's usually where I'm stopping. It has worked well for me. So I could probably do more, but I'm not doing more right now. Currently saying that my deadlift, probably based on this, the 415 times 2, that is my 480 1 rep max. So bent over rows I'm doing with 250. I did 11 of them. The last couple on here get kind of funky, but that's neither here nor there. Same issue here with my dumbbells, 52.5 pound dumbbells. The number of reps just keeps going up. Band lat pull downs, I use a green band for those, which are, I think, up to 125 tension. I'm getting close to that, so I count that as a 125, which is where the 183.33 comes in. It's after 14 repetitions. I basically double it over, but I only counted once, so it might be more. Elasticity measurements were never my thing. Reverse hyper to flat bench we talked about. I do them a bit more than they recommend, or a bit more than they show in their demo. Standing military press, again, I did do 205 times 2, which my goal here is to get to 225 as a single, and I'm at 218. So I will do a single standing or a single seated press just to get that number in here somewhere without having to fake it. But shrugs, I'm doing with 295. Practically another deadlift that I just hold. This one, by now I'm using straps for all this stuff. The upright row I need straps for, with the barbell because I need to kind of hang my hands, like not really grip it, and I can use the straps to grip it. I prefer the leather straps that I have. Ow, my shoulder is hurting. Bent over delt raise. Again, the rest of the weights that I have equal about 32.5 pounds, including the bar. I have 2 of those, which I've been doing for my shoulder work and for my decline flies. My shoulders aren't super strong as far as this goes, but they're actually better than they've ever been. In my youth, doing this exercise in particular, bent over, lateral, and front dumbbell raises, I was not getting above 20, 25 pounds and making it to 10. So doing it with 32.5 is a bit of a jump for me, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose. Because all my lifts are bigger. Dumbbell side bend, same thing. It's just one of the 2 dumbbells. And these are all, I use fat grips on all these to build my grip strength of it. Thursday, curls. Again, this is a funky weight because I have a 22-pound easy curl bar, and I'm not flushing it all out. I just these are with 45s, and then I add 10s, and then I add 2 5s. No, 5s, and then 2 more 5s. So, but this I'm shot. This I should be able to do more than 2 132. If I went back to right now, I could do more than 2 of these. But it's not my biceps that gets me here, it's my shoulders. Concentration curls. If I'm not wearing elbow sleeves, and I actually have the support strap for tennis elbow, I've got 2 of them. If I don't band my bicep up here, I can't do more than 1 or 2 of these with concentration curls. And again, the 32.5 that's the lighter dumbbell. It's accessory work for the barbell curl. It's not necessarily work. It's volume, I guess is probably the better way to put it. Tricep extension, same kind of deal. I'm using this one because that's what's on the metrics, and dips. I throw the easy curl bar in my lap, and that's the 22 pounds here, and I could not do the second set. I did 13 on the first one, and they were crappy. I barely got my elbows down to 90 degrees. I need an actual dip station of some kind, which is on my list of things to get eventually. But I need also, at this time, I'm doing 2 of them if I'm doing any of them. I can at least do a dip or 2 on like a pull-up. Hip thrusters, 135. I can do a lot more, but not without frying my back. This was yesterday. 270 squats. I'm not doing too bad on. I wore some neoprene knee sleeves because I did my joints at 45 crack a little bit when going down. I discovered, interestingly, after doing a couple of light warm-up sets before actually doing that first 275, that my stance has been too wide. It's a lot easier when I'm a little more neutral in my hips, where I'm closer to under my hips instead of between my hips and my shoulders, where I plant my heels and then turn my feet out. So I definitely need to turn my feet out, even with the lifts. Top set 415 by 3 was ugly. I think I had one good might have qualified lift out of those 3. The first and third ones were, my back was done. My lower back was it's my weakness on these things, and that's where it was kind of crapping out. My legs weren't that wobbly till after I did leg extensions, which, as you can see, I'm doing 250. I had 12 of them. I pretty much throw them up. I don't know that I can put a whole lot more weight on the leg extension. I can, but space-wise, unfortunately, it has the piece on the front. You got the cross piece here. Does this make sense? Yeah, cross piece. And when you lift, actually, there's the 2 pieces here. You lift, this piece goes up like this. I got this piece, but also on the piece down here where your feet go, and the piece across here, it actually extends out on either side, and I can put more weight on there. I'll try to get the 250 on it as it is. Because I have a 1-inch to 2-inch converter sleeve on there. It just isn't that long. I can get about 4 or 5 plates on it, and then it's at the end. I could and probably will find some longer converters to add more weight to it, because it's more convenient if it's on the outside, because otherwise I've got to kind of like stick my feet in. And if I ever get these videos done of me working out, you'll see me trying to wedge my feet in there underneath all this stuff. Leg curls, I need to make some adjustments to how my leg curls go. I feel like when I do the curl and I come up, I'll start with the pad down here, but as I curl up, I end up curling, more down my calf down to here. It's still hard. I'm still, 125 pounds is not what I consider my normal is around 75. So I'm really getting some, and you see, I'm making it. I mean, I'm doing, 11 of them. For the last set, I'm doing 8. And actually, my second set, number 11, was pretty ugly. But I can't see what I'm doing per se, so I know that I got it up a good distance. I don't have a set standard for when it's good enough to count it as a rep. Typically, if it's good enough, I count it as good enough. Nobody's gonna watch this. It's a half hour long now. Anyway, if it's long enough, I count it. If it's not, then I don't. Where was my... Good. I don't expect anybody to be in the chat here. I realize I didn't pop it out. I could be popping it out and looking at it right now, but I'm not. Calf raises with 245. Other than occasionally getting a cramp in my leg doing calf raises, I could be doing 3, 4. I could probably do 300 pounds with my calf raises. I have big calves. I always have big calves. They're big, strong calves. People don't look at my legs and say, "Man, he's got wimpy calves." I say, "Dude, look at that." Occasionally, I'm trying not to push it too hard because I don't necessarily need my calves to get any bigger. Split clean. Again, we talked about split cleans already. They're not really split cleans. They're just cleans. They are just from the floor up to rack position. They are not lift and then to the rest position that they call it, and then all the way up. It's literally just from all the way down, all the way up to rack, and then back down again to ground, or within an inch or two. Sometimes they don't put the bar down. Lately, I've been putting the bar all the way down, and then it's the stand up, jerk it up to rack and call it a day. I get 2 gassed on these. I'm only doing this with 115. I was dealing with 95, and then I hit like 10 or 12 and 95, and I was like, all right, well, I might as well add some more weight to it. Thinking of 95 being that magic men's CrossFit number that they use for so many things, because it's just a 25 on either side of a 45-pound bar. Which, okay, I would have felt better with 135, but I'm not a CrossFitter. That's the only really dynamic move that I do. I'm going to add some more into it eventually, but right now I'm looking at, I'm aiming for, I want to do a cross between powerlifting and bodybuilding where I get stronger, but I am burning a lot of calories doing it. I'm kind of not finding that balance. I'm not dropping the weight like I expected. I'm eating, well, weight of crunches we talked about too. So let's go back to diet here real quick. What I am eating, why is there a 19th on here? Oh, because my session ran long. Okay. This one I did finish up till almost 1 o'clock in the morning, because I don't get started until 10:30 or 11. Kids get to bed. I come down here, and typically my routine is I come on here, I'll come over to YouTube. I have got a TV back there with a Roku on it with the YouTube app. What I'll do is I'll go through my subscriptions. I'll try to find an hour or so's worth of videos that I'd be interested in watching. I open them up in new tabs, like I got the tabs up here. Then I'll just start them and pause them, so they all show up in my history. So then I can go back there, and I have a playlist set up of videos to listen to or watch as I work out. Last night ran long, and I ran out, and I had to go figure something out. But that part of my problem is that taking more time. I would love to go back into my dark and misty days of my youth and just listen to Metallica while I lifted weights. But I'm not that guy. I'm not, like, I'd have to listen, like, when I lifted weights, I listened to, for example, Metallica or Def Leppard. This is back in the 1989, 1990 when I started doing all this. I would listen to them on repeat, like, for 3.5 hours while I lifted weights. I don't have time for that. And that's time when I could be engaging in other content that's not just music. And the music doesn't get me going or anything like that. The only effect that I noticed that music had was when it was a slower song, I was less engaged to start the next workout. So when, like, I'd be working out and one would come on, I would sit there through the whole beginning of it, whether, until the first chorus, just listening to it because it was slow and, I can't remember anything. It wasn't getting me going, my voice is a little dry, or my throat's a little dry right now, but you can probably tell. So anyway, so I try to consume content. I have a whole list of other stuff. I should probably start, like, some of the Netflix series that I haven't watched yet. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and pick any of the Marvel stuff. start there. Since I'm going to be back there for minimum of 45 minutes if I have no wasted time, and chances are I'll have more than wasted time. But then I feel like I'm missing some of my other content of my YouTube subscribers or subscriptions, which I got to go through and clean out because it's a bit of a mess. So yeah, I don't know. That's another problem for another day. 40 minutes in. Last thing I was going to talk about is my diet. I have been meal prepping since the first of the year. In January, I started meal prepping, and during the month of January, I lost 12 pounds. It took me down from 326 on December 3rd, 326.4, I want to say, on December 30th or 31st, down to 312. I think my lowest I've been is 310 since then. But I lost most of that in January and the first week of February, and I've been flat ever since then. Now, I was not lifting weights at all December, January, February, or March. Well, no. December, January, February. No, and March. I picked up, maybe the last time I picked up, when did I pick that up again? I can look at March. I probably don't have anything for March. Yeah, March was clear. I started up again in April. Yes, April 2nd with my first weight training session that I had done. You can see where I come back from. I took 4 months off to try to rehab my elbow. It worked pretty well. I've learned some things about how I ended up with tennis elbow and why I keep getting it. It's basically leaning on my elbow too much. Leaning on this with my arm a certain way. It hyperextends the tendons in the elbow, and then it hurts like a motherfucker. Whatever. It hurts. And then I exacerbate the injury by lifting heavy stuff. But you can see I started back here, 185. I think my top set was 245. I'm starting with more than 245 now on my bench press. So I've grown considerably since then. What was my squat on day 7? The squat 325 was my top set, and I only did 3 of them. So this is my warm up now. So I'm making good progress. I mean, I'm still. People notice the difference when I'm lifting weights, which is good. Some people like it more than others. But this last workout, I had 32,295 pounds. I'm lifting a lot. I'm moving a lot of steel. I'm lifting a lot of weights. A lot of wasted time on Friday. Which is part of the reason why I think I need a deload. My Fridays are usually my toughest day. But when I get these averages that are above 20 minutes of wasted time, especially consistently, I'm either goofing off or I'm not working as hard as I can. This day here, I had something happen in the middle of my workout, and I didn't stop to deal with it. Around 20 minutes, okay, I get that. When I start getting more of these, I think I'm just overdoing it. Lots of 20s, 45. Where was that 50? This one here. I think this day, both my mom and my wife called me during my workout. My mom to get her new Bluetooth paired and figure out why she couldn't hear anybody on it. And my wife because of something else. That may not have been the 5th. Maybe it was. I don't remember. But this was just because I was too worn out. So I need a deload, but I need to plan for a deload. I can't do the workout that I'm doing in deload because part of the reason I need a deload is because of my shoulders. And so if I keep doing the same stuff, I'm not going to fix my shoulders at all. I am doing some shoulder exercises to try to help warm those up, to strengthen them a little bit. But it's all light band work. I need some heavy band work. And the problem is I don't have anywhere to hook up. I hook up the bands to my rack. My rack is technically on one layer of carpeting. If I start pulling, with the bands, I'm going to start pulling the rack, even with all the weights on it. Which I guess I could push back. Probably not a big deal. But what I need is some actual weight to move. And to do that, I need the cable system. Or spend more time on push-pull. I'm not ready to reinvent the wheel with my workout yet. But maybe come end of June, maybe the next time I need to do a deload, if I take a good week here where I do maybe just calisthenic stuff, push-ups, sit-ups, air squats, that type of stuff, burpees. I can do work without losing progress, and then maybe the next time I deload would probably be if I do it mid-May, probably end of June. I'll switch it up to do something else. Maybe I will start doing a push-pull. Or I'll do big sets, big push-pull sets, where I'll do bench press and then, bent over rows and things like that. And then push my accessory work off to separate days. I usually try to do the accessory work on the same day because my muscles are already tired and my accessory work is always lighter. So I'll do bench press and then incline dumbbell press because I'm pressing less with the dumbbells, and the decline flies because I'm flying less than the inclines. But it's all designed to hit the chest, which is getting much, much bigger and much stronger, but is sacrificing my shoulders. And it was bad because I was doing back on Thursday. I switched back and arms. So I would do chest, arms, shoulders, then back. So before I'd have like 4 days where I felt like I was walking around my shoulders like this because my chest muscles were all tight. I didn't have anything pulling all that stuff back. So, all right, that's enough. It's been 47 minutes. Nobody's going to watch this anyway, but that's where I'm at. Last thing about my diet. Meal prep. I've done standard bodybuilding where I'd have 4 ounces of chicken, 4 ounces of a starch, and then 4 ounces of vegetables. I switched that up. Because after a month or so of doing it where I wasn't losing anything, I dropped the carb, just had vegetables and protein. Nothing changed. Increased the protein, nothing changed. Increase the fat, nothing changed. Changed the vegetables, and I actually was doing a low carb, almost a keto kind of thing. I can't do full keto for too long. My doctors would not necessarily approve of that. But more fat. I switched all my vegetables to the lower carb vegetables. So instead of being corn and green beans, I now have asparagus, and actually I think I switched those both out for asparagus. They have broccoli. I used to have mixed vegetables of broccoli, a little bit of asparagus, tomatoes, red peppers, cherry tomatoes, I should say, red peppers, onions, and corn. And I took out the corn and the green beans. I cut back on the onions. So now I have a little more asparagus, broccoli, red peppers, cherry tomatoes, and onions. I actually will bake the tomatoes, onions, and peppers at 350 for half an hour, usually while my chicken cooks. But I did have just breasts marinated in olive oil, apple cider vinegar, balsamic vinegar, which I also forgot to put on the grocery list, and garlic powder. I added thighs to that. I'm switching the thighs back out, because I'm trying to cut back on the fat because I've been sneaking more fatty stuff, and which is fine as long as my fat is low. for my doctors to approve of. But my fat has been creeping up too much, and I'm trying to. Plus, the white chicken breast is a little higher, a little denser in protein, and because it's lower in fat, it's a little lower in calories. I gotta move the scale somehow. Doing 5 meals a day, 5 ounces of protein, 5 ounces of vegetables. Typically, I'm only adding mustard and hot sauce on it, and I keep those at work. So 3 of my meals definitely during the week. Hot sauce and mustard, that's it. Occasionally, no. And for dinner, I will have 2 hard-boiled eggs with it, yolks and whites for a little extra protein. Then I skip would be my 9 o'clock meal and save it for after my workout. So eat it at 9, 12, 3, 6, and 9. But like I said, my last one I save for right before bed because it's usually right after my workout. And I need a protein or something like that afterwards. I don't want to add the extra calories, so I just push the meal off until before I go to bed. And that's it. All right, 51 minutes now. I'm obsessing over the time, but this is going to be an hour long. And nobody's going to watch it. This is just me just talking. So my plan here was to talk about deloading and what I was going to do. And I didn't get to what I was going to do. I talked a lot about what I'm doing. And I now sound like a coal miner. So, all right, that's it. Take care, and I'm out. I don't have a sign off for this channel. I'm going to work on that. Bye.